now talking to David Bean of Teledyne and LeCroy. David, tell us something about the wireless vertical markets that Teledyne is focusing on today.
I think there's a lot of different fragmented wireless vertical markets. Here at CES, we're going to see everything from, connected home, wearables, right? And I think a lot of them have a lot of false starts, to say the least. But I think the two that we believe in the most, that we're seeing a lot of nice growth in, is automotive and home and building automation. Automotive, you've had the simple Bluetooth connection in the car. Now we're moving from that just simple Bluetooth connection to things like cellular hotspots in the car, to V2V, V2X, data communications, and the liability that exists in the car, ensuring that in the automotive ecosystem as a whole, and ensuring that all those wireless communications work effectively, is important to the customer as well as the ecosystem. So we see a lot of opportunities for Teledyne and LeCroy to really help ensure that those wireless interfaces in the car work and work seamlessly.
You and I have been talking to each other for a long time, but it seems as if your responsibilities have grown beyond just pure sort of checking connections between devices. It sounds like you're thinking on a much broader scale now.
Yeah, so I think our vision has become really not just, hey, here, let's sell you a box to make sure the connection transport works. But our vision has become, hey, we want to ensure that end user that buys a new Jaguar or buys a new Ford, that things work and things work great, right? And so we do test equipment to do that, yes. But we also do a lot of services and consulting, training, and even some security analysis that we've been doing to really broaden the horizon on the different tools and things that we can provide to developer, so that they can ensure that things do work for their customer when their customer takes delivery of a new car.
Well, I understand the automotive industry is important to you now. How did that happen? Was that a conscious decision, or did it just evolve?
So, about a year and a half ago, Teledyne and LeCroy acquired Frontline Test Equipment, who I was previously with. Yeah. And Frontline is based in Charlottesville, Virginia. And we were focused consciously on automotive, but with Teledyne and LeCroy acquiring us, we decided to move half of our team to Detroit, Michigan.
Wow, yeah.
And so we literally picked up families and moved them to and opened an office in Detroit, very focused on automotive, taking the Frontline business that had automotive presence and also expanding that to all the different Teledyne LeCroy businesses that have automotive interest. And it's been a very conscious effort, and we've seemed to make a great big impact with many different OEMs and Tier 1 suppliers.
And how did the smart home thing come about? Where did that evolve from?
So smart home is something that we've seen, percolate for a long time, and it's been something that I've kept my eye on. With the invention of Zigbee back in early 2000, right? We thought Zigbee was going to be the beginning of home automation, and there were some companies that made some good inroads. There was Zigbee in building and home automation, but really with Bluetooth Low Energy Mesh coming about and everybody walking around with BLE modems in their pockets, we really, really believe that the building automation and home automation is here to stay, and we're about to see exponential growth, whether it be lighting, whether it be controls, whether it be sensing applications. And Teledyne and LeCroy is focused and well positioned to play a big role in helping customers get their products to market effectively in that vertical market.
Okay. Well, Bluetooth Low Energy and 15.4 based mesh networking are competing technologies, but are they really? Are they competing, or are they complementary?
So I have to confess, for a while I always viewed them as competing technologies, right? Very similar to
I probably would have said the same thing.
Yeah, very similar to what people would say 10, 15 years ago when Bluetooth and Wi-Fi were competing for market space. But BLE and 15.4 are getting to be complementary, and they're both forming their own niche. You'll even see silicon vendors, some very large silicon vendors these days, that are coming out with single chip solutions that offer 15.4 and BLE and Wi-Fi all in one single chip, to really be able to play out those different niche applications in the building and home automation. So we don't see them competing, and we see Teledyne LeCroy, is paying a lot more attention now to that 15.4 space and what that means for the ecosystem.
So by providing a chip which supports all three technologies, Wi-Fi, BLE, and 15.4, is that a case of covering bases, or are there applications where, say, Bluetooth Low Energy and 15.4 might be used in the same device?
I think for right now, there are it's a little bit of both,
Yeah.
right? There's a little bit of a covering basis, but then there's already some building automation applications out there that are 15.4 that are mesh-based, that are more of a routed mesh
Right.
topology instead of a flooded mesh.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's a safe environment for 15.4. You know, BLE is more of a flooded mesh, and that is a safe environment for BLE. So I think it's a combination of both. It's a safe bet, but then there's some mesh applications where 15.4, i.e. the ones that need to be routed, are more effective than the BLE ones.
Okay. Well, with all of this stuff, it's only of any use to consumers or the people who use it if it works properly. Let's use the car as an application that we can talk about here. How's Teledyne making wireless work more effectively in the car?
I think that's a great question, Vince. Teledyne LeCroy is focused on the user experience in the car. There's a lot of industry bodies, a lot of test plans, a lot of qualification plans that focus more on the underlying transport and making sure that the transport checks a bunch of different boxes from a compliance perspective. But we're using our test equipment and our services and our expertise to really test automobiles from the user perspective and ensure that the user experience is seamless. That's where we provide value add to the automotive ecosystem, and we've been of a great assistance to them by looking at everything from the user experience, as well as understanding the technology, but not being so focused just on the transport and checking the box for the transport.
Let's face it, if the user experience isn't good and if the user interface doesn't work, you can almost forget the rest really, because it's not going to be used anyway, is it?
Correct. I think a lot of users we find with all these different technologies, I mean, we're tech geeks, right? To say the least, and we get all excited, is that 15.4, is that 5G, what technology that is being used by that application? But my mother or my grandmother, she doesn't care, she just wants to know, does it work? Right?
Absolutely.
And that's what really matters.
And with the variety of platforms that are operating inside a car, as well as the platforms that the driver or consumer brings in with him, that's a pretty complicated scenario, and a lot of the stuff needs to interoperate correctly in that environment. You must have quite a job on your hands helping people make sure that that does happen.
Yep, we do, but we believe we're one of the best fit in the industry, being very close to the OEMs and tier ones to really sort that for developers.
Well, that's fascinating, David. I think you've got a lot of work on your hands here, but you're well capable of managing it. Thanks for your time today, and I hope you have a great CES event.
All right. Thank you, Vince.